Welcome to Faith Over Breakfast. You are listening to a podcast by Pastor Eric Deepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. If you enjoy Faith Over Breakfast, we encourage you to rate it on the Apple Podcast app, on Spotify, or Google Play. Thank you and enjoy the podcast. You've been listening and you haven't been listening and you will be listening to Faith Over Breakfast. Well, I'm Pastor Eric and I can never get that one straight. And this is Pastor Andy across from me. We've been doing this 9 years, as we like to say.
9 years.
Started, well, even longer because we started in a radio program.
That's right.
And,
so does that mean 10 years?
Probably been doing, you and I have been talking to each other in a serious manner for 10 years.
On microphones.
On microphones.
And letting other people listen to it.
That's kind of crazy.
What are we thinking?
I don't know. Well, you know, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a radio host.
That explains
it. So here we are. This is why
that explains it.
Podcast came along and I'm like, I can do it.
I can do this. I can be a radio host to at least 100 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, today our conversation is about social media as a tool. What is it good for? War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Social media, what is it good for? That's the discussion today.
Oh, damn! That may be maybe our title.
I
don't know if people have noticed, but I found out that like in the algorithms of Apple, that people search and it really just goes through your titles.
Sure.
So I've started putting these like ridiculously complex titles.
The titles have been wild, man, and the imagery is. Anyway.
The sad face and
what was going on with that last one?
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's Faith Over Breakfast. There's I think like it expresses the between the border and the cross, wrestling with immigration protest and the Christian responsibility to the common good.
Yeah.
So I figure someone will catch one of those words. Well, somebody listened to an episode while we were listening. That's crazy.
Wild.
That's funny.
Well,
while we were talking anyway. Yeah.
With no further ado, our discussion about what is social media working to, or what is it effectively doing for us? What is it not? How can we discern that?
Yeah, be quiet, Eric. Let's go.
Please, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Eric, we actually just had a full breakfast.
We did.
It was like a blast from the past.
Yes, it was a Faith Over Breakfast planning meeting.
Yeah.
Where we only talked about our lives.
Yeah. And but we did talk about what to talk about today.
We did, which is a rare thing.
Is a rare thing.
We had a pre-production meeting.
So for those, we haven't said this in a little bit. This podcast began because we were invited onto a radio show. A member of each of our churches was hosting
9 years ago.
9 years ago, this radio show together. And they invited us to be a part of a segment. And then we would meet them for breakfast before and talk about where we were going with things. And we'd have about 5 minutes or something.
Yeah, we got 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes. So we used to have this meal before. And then in 5 to 10 minutes, we had to try to convey what we wanted to convey about faith and culture.
Faith and culture. And it was an interfaith conversation between two people.
People who had the same faith. Yeah.
Yes. And...
And it was called a round table, but it was at a rectangular table. It was. There were so many
issues.
The two of us being chief among the issues.
Yes, that's all right.
But we, at the end of that year of doing that radio show, I think you commented, I don't know if I'll miss being on the radio, but I will miss the breakfasts. And then I said, why don't we record the breakfasts? And we started recording during the eating, which people complained about. There's a lot of chewing and slurping. But then it's morphed into just we do meet in the morning. Usually there's a beverage on the table.
Yeah.
But today is feeling a little more like the old days because you picked me up from dropping off my vehicle for service.
Yeah, and
we had breakfast.
Yeah, I happen to have a more open time before lunch than usual. So we've had a little bit more leisurely time. Usually you're either on the clock or I'm on the clock. We're trying to get this thing in and move to the next thing.
So it's a nice change.
Yeah. So this is the satiated faith over satiation.
Yeah. faith over
podcast.
satiation.
I am fully satiated.
Me too. I'm full. Yeah.
I am.
And full and happy. And my breakfast is better than yours. We ordered the same thing, but you cut out all the flavor. So you
the sweet pickles.
yeah, and you just dumped ketchup on it. So that probably says something
Kind
about
of
the two
ketchup
of
on
us.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, one of those things. The ketchup part is that I married a ketchup condiment queen.
A ketchup condiment.
So she loves ketchup and all other condiments. And so after 30 years, I'm like, I guess I like condiments too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So that's how that works.
fine with ketchup
Yeah.
in some situations.
Well, me too. I did not usually like it on the dish that we just ate.
Yeah.
And now I can't eat it without it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I went with the aioli and the pickled peppers.
I took those
pickled
off.
peppers.
I
the
didn't know
Peter
how they were
Piper
going to go.
picked.
I like aioli, but I didn't know how they were going to do it. And I was like, this is a lot of different.
They drizzled.
Yeah, they drizzled. Did they drizzle the
They
aioli?
drizzled. Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah.
It's good. So anyway, here we are.
So we were going to talk about social media today.
Yeah, we
You had kind of an idea, and I liked it.
yeah. So I had a discussion. So okay, of course, our last podcast. If you're an avid listener, we talked a little bit about there was some of the immigration questions, but it wasn't just that. It was what it's like as pastors to be expected to some degree to have answers.
Yes.
And
So you got to hear us struggle with that a little bit.
struggle with that and
Yeah.
the fatigue
Mm-hmm.
that we can experience.
Yeah.
So in the last week, as I've thought about that, I had a couple discussions. One of them in which someone in my church, who I think it was a very positive conversation, but said, the downside to not putting out thoughts out there is that then maybe the more intense or the thoughts from one angle become what the watching world sees
Yes.
from Christians.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are more nuanced thoughts or alternative thoughts and those people don't say anything,
Right.
it feels like this is the Christian view
Right.
and it's not countered.
Yeah.
And I get that,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see that point. And I think what I said to them was something to the effect of, yeah, I get that. I think there are some people who are called to represent different sides of the kingdom publicly as well. And maybe I'm wrestling with whether or not that's my thing, if that's what I should do. But the other piece that I was thinking about was just my belief in social media as a tool for that.
Right.
And that's kind of what I brought up at breakfast. And I think I'm pretty...
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
What does it mean to live a life of faith? What does it mean to live as a Catholic Christian? Hi, this is Bishop Kevin Sweeney, host of the podcast Beyond the Beacon. Join me as we unravel and discuss the mysteries of our faith, of the church, of living as Catholic Christians. Be inspired by engaging interviews with priests and seminarians, deacons, religious, women and men who live the life of faith day by day here in our Diocese of Patterson, in food pantries and classrooms and parishes and ministry. How is God working in their lives today? How is God working in our lives? Join me as I ask them and be part of the conversation on Beyond the Beacon. Listen and follow Beyond the Beacon wherever you get your podcasts, or watch it on my YouTube channel. Please check the show notes for more details. Thank you and God bless you.
You said a very non-Andy thing, and that you were pretty absolute. You said you thought Facebook was a failed platform for this
type of engagement.
Yes.
Like I think what I said is I have made a decision about social media. I wouldn't just say Facebook. I would say I don't do X, but I would very much include X.
I don't do X
or Truth Social or any of that.
Yeah, no.
Or Threads. So I am on Instagram and Facebook, right? And I would say though I'm on those, I think they are faulty, failed platforms for changing hearts and minds and having discourse.
Right.
So having decided that, I've decided that what I'm going to use them for is I will point people from my kind of more ministry-oriented one to longer form, meaningful media that they could check out.
Sure.
Sometimes. even that I'm on the fence about. I will do promotions for the things I'm writing, because that's part of what you have to do to get published. And I will do pictures I like of places I've been and things I've done, because that's, to me, what the platforms were originally for. And that's what I've decided it's for me, what it effectively does. And it doesn't do discourse effectively, so I've decided not to try to do discourse on it.
Right.
Yeah, so the way that I had described it to you over breakfast was, if I'm trying to dig a hole in my yard and someone presents me with a broom, I would like to be able to say, this is an ineffective tool for digging my hole.
Right.
I will not use it.
Yeah.
However, I will use a shovel, and because it's an effective tool. So for discourse, I think there are a few different pathways. The ideal is in a real relationship in which someone respects me enough to listen to what I have to say, and we can go back and forth. And for the opinions I have, and I mentioned this in the last podcast, I have opinions on these things.
You do have opinions.
Many things, everything. But I'm going to reserve those for the people who know me well enough and actually want to hear what I have to say and care. And I think I've officially come to that place at this point where I've said, social media, not only does it not change people's minds, it just creates a mess.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a good tool for this purpose. Anyway, there you go. That's my...
Okay. So as you're talking,
Yeah.
and when you were talking at breakfast, I was rehearsing a few things in my head so we could... So I thought, first, what genuinely good impacts has social media had on me?
Yeah.
So I started going down this. So the first one is in Reels,
Yep.
These short little form videos. My algorithm is mostly pastors talking about things and pizza, like pizza, how to make pizza. 'Cause I have an Oni pizza oven.
Yeah.
So I love looking at watching and trying to figure out how to do that. So seminary student listed out his 5 favorite books.
Yeah.
I'd read 4 of them. And the 5th one was, I think, called The Common Rule.
Okay.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
So I thought, I went and looked at the reviews. It sounded interesting. So I bought it and read it.
Yeah.
So it was a decent book, positive impact.
I appreciate things like that.
Yeah. So then there was this advertisement, because apparently I like food, where you could get this sealer, this thing that you put on top of your mason jar. And so you could put like strawberries in it, and then it air seals it, right? I thought my wife would love that. Turns out one of the best presents I've ever gotten my wife. She uses it for everything all the time. Okay. Bless my life.
Good. It is a marketing tool. It's an effective. It's funny. I have a bit of a hot take on the algorithms thing. Cruz and I were in a discussion with somebody where I was saying, they were talking about like the heinousness of the algorithms feeding you things you want. And my slight hot take on that is, I like that it feeds me things I'd want to buy. Now, I need to be careful as a consumer not to just buy them all, but I prefer being advertised things I actually give a rip about.
Yep.
I don't think that's entirely negative.
Well, I have gotten positive feedback on Facebook in particular when I actually take the time to write a pretty long form article and post the whole article. If I write a long form article on my Substack and put a link to it,
very few people end up reading the whole thing.
They don't even go to it usually. But if I put it on there, I get much more response and interaction, and I have opportunity to have conversation.
Interesting.
So I have found that that's been a positive thing.
Okay.
Some of the negative impact is that it definitely gives me a dopamine hit, and when I'm bored, it's nice. And when I mean I'm bored, and when I'm stressed out, or I'm just have this little space between things,
it can feel like I mean, honestly, it's the effect that people get from smoking a cigarette.
Yeah,
drinking
it
a
is
beer.
totally like smoking a cigarette. It's
Yep.
just that's a version of smoking. I need to take a smoke break.
Yep.
Like, that's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I interpret that as a negative impact. The other negative impact I have is that when you follow a lot of pastors, it's very indiscriminate as to who's going to pop up in any kind of my feed. And a lot of times what pops up are what you were talking about at a coffee shop or at breakfast, is that it is very controversial and antagonistic.
So I actually want to challenge a word you just said. I forget the word you just said, but that it was
antagonistic and controversial.
No, those I agree with. I think that the design is to show you those close to you or similar to you who you disagree with or agree with the most, but especially, and I've heard this from one step removed from designers of social media, that's exactly what keeps people engaged. Therefore, that is exactly what's fed to you. So you won't see the thing that kind of makes you go, yeah, sure, of course. I knew Eric thought that.
Here's the thing. I mean, the algorithm knows I like Preston Sprinkle.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to see Preston Sprinkle.
I never see Preston.
You see the opposite
Preston's
of Preston.
Not on there.
Yeah.
Okay. I see the people who actually are saying things against Preston.
That is what I expect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I forget how you said it, but it made it sound like the design of the platform was randomly feeding you things.
No,
it's purposeful.
It's purposeful, and
yeah,
apparently my other interests, like what I buy on Amazon, all those kinds of things.
Well, absolutely, that data is all clearly shared because
Yes, I look at Amazon at a vacuum cleaner, and I have to deal with vacuum cleaner ads for like at least 4 or 5 days.
If anyone knows me, I own hats and I like hats. I get ads for hats.
I bet you do.
It's like if I were to pull out and scroll right now, 10 hats. You would see 10 hats, and they're uniquely. Every day I see one for the Naranjeros de Hermosillo baseball team. That's very targeted. So
that is very targeted.
They come through and play here every once in a while, and I have a couple of friends who like them.
Okay,
and I have engaged with people wearing their hat recently. I own one of their hats because my friend gave me one.
Right.
But that's very specific.
Right.
That and it feeds me. I see that almost every day. It's this little dangle. You sure you don't want to buy this hat? You sure you don't want to buy this hat?
So can I ask you like a side question?
Please.
How many hats would you say you own?
Too many.
Would you say
I don't
over 50?
Yes. I would have given you I would have said less 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
But my wife bought me hat organizers for Christmas, and she bought me a pack of 4 that she probably saw on social media, and they held 25 each. And I was like, "There's no way I'm going to fill these." I did.
So that was my next question. You just answered it for me. Is how do you store your hats? But now we know.
Well, they were just in stacks, and the stacks were getting a little chaotic, which is why she bought me the organizers.
So you buy hats like I buy board games. This
Sounds
is interesting.
Sounds like it.
So I have 100 board game limit.
Okay.
Maybe you should have 100 hat limit, and you just have to give a hat
Maybe I should have a
away.
75 hat limit.
Maybe. So whatever. So you could have some room to buy a new hat.
Yeah. Man.
So you have you haven't gotten to having a different hat for every day, but at least a different hat for every 3 days almost.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
And there's a couple that come out very rarely, and I know that, but they have their, like, I have a brown one that's all mesh that was actually made by a designer. I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. It's my size. I really like it. But it's brown. So
when do you
there are a select outfits, very rare. But I have a brown shirt and khaki pants, and it comes together with that very nicely.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. It's a rare sighting. Yeah.
Anyway, so social media has these impacts on us that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at an auger on Amazon. And
Not an ogre, an auger.
Yeah, to clean out your drain. And I was getting plumber reels, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. The connectivity, but the data connectivity
it's
here
pretty
is
crazy.
wild. Yeah.
So that's a scary piece.
It is, but there is that little part of me that says, I'm not entirely mad that if my drain is plugged, I'm also being given possibilities.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of discipline to, and I'm not saying I have it. So that's an issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because hateful speech.
Yeah.
And the way that people, it's not just that hey, here's a thing where someone disagrees with you. The person who is presenting their thing is doing it in a way in order to get onto that algorithm to
usually, yeah.
So two guys talking like us.
This is not that
right. But instead of talking like this, they're going through a list of why most people are bad preachers.
Sure.
And they're like two profs sitting, with all their books up against the wall and basically trashing people.
Well, I was with another pastor yesterday, and he talked about a theologian he didn't like.
Uh-huh.
He was on my social media feed this morning. The one he didn't like.
Can we know who?
Nah, I know it's not.
No.
But that's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that's by design. And okay. Imagine if it's addicting to me to see cool hats and buy them, and for you to see new and different board games and buy them.
Oh, board games I get a lot now. Yeah, I forget to. Yeah, board games are a big deal.
How much more addictive is hateful speech and angry rhetoric? I think it's more addictive, even than those. We're admitting a certain level of consumerism here, right?
We have joined the Borg.
Yeah. But I think there's an even more powerful and addictive pull to the rhetoric and the hateful speech, and it's not a pull toward understanding or listening or contemplating. It's a pull toward it. The goal of the social media platform is not that. It's to keep you on the platform longer. So it feeds you more of that. You're going to see as much of it as possible. And the goal is not to resolve it, but actually to keep it unresolved,
right?
So that you continue to come back. And so when that's what's being done to you, so I was talking about it being not the right tool. This gets even further to where if I said I need a shovel to dig in my yard, and someone actually brought out a club and hit me in the head with it.
Right.
Or I'd say, oh, the tool I asked for, you didn't only bring, not only did you not bring me the tool, you actually harmed me.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going further. Yeah.
So to go all the way back to your statement of it's not a good platform, and to bring back my favorite theologian at the time right now, Preston.
Yeah.
So one of the things I admire about him deeply is that he articulates very clearly that if he is going to get into a disagreement with someone, his goal first is to steel man their argument, meaning he wants to know their argument well, and he wants to make their argument as best he can and have that person say, yes, that's my argument. Right? So that's just a beautiful, honoring thing to me.
Yes.
So if that's your front, you have something, you're like, I don't think this idea, these thoughts are good. You should be able to make a clear argument from that position, demonstrating that you understand what you're arguing against without rhetoric built into it, without attacking the person who has the view, without trying to exaggerate pieces of their argument in order to make it look silly or put a straw man in it. And I think social media becomes a different space. It's not going to happen, but it does become a different space. You could have a really great dialogue.
I'm not debating the potential.
Yeah.
That is there or potentially was there.
Right.
I'm saying it is no longer designed to do that.
Yes, I would agree with you.
And so
you would be fighting an uphill battle to make it happen.
An uphill battle. And the way, so the way it seems to work is that when people on these platforms, when you see an idea that strikes you as bothersome or frustrating, and I know this happens to me, it actually doesn't lead you to, and this is probably just some, how the human brain works stuff, but it doesn't lead you to reflect and say, wow, I wonder if I should think about it. You actually tend to dig into your current position even harder.
Right.
When you see the opposing view presented to you.
Right.
So usually it has the opposite effect. It just furthers the chasm. When you see your point articulated, you dig your heels in deeper on your point. And when you see the opposite view articulated, you dig your heels in again on your point.
Right.
So it's rare, and it seems like it goes against the very science of the thing, that you find yourself opening, reflecting, and listening through a media platform like that. And I think some of that has to do with the level of interaction. I listened to this, my wife and I watched a documentary about dogs. I was telling you also how much my wife loves animals. And so we were watching a documentary about dogs and why are humans connected to dogs. And one of the big ideas is their eyes. Mm-hmm. They make meaningful eye contact.
The dogs do.
Dogs do.
Yes, they do.
So humans respond to that positively, generally, right? Unless a dog has been abused or something, and then that's a different interaction. But generally, now, when you interact with another human, you read their cues and their eye contact, and you can tell if they care, if they're affected, if they're nervous, if they're afraid. You can take those cues, and it changes your interaction and your openness to what they have to say.
Right.
The media engagement with a person it cuts that layer of interaction.
Right.
And so it's ineffective. It's a poor tool for change, for affecting change.
Do you think also, basically over the last 30 to 40 years, really since the internet has jumped in, it's gotten even worse, but people have stopped reading and being trained on how to dissect arguments. And so partly why Facebook and these particular kinds of things are happening is that we aren't able to really look at arguments and understand if it is a good argument or if it's not a good argument. And we're not able to, and we don't have our own information that we've researched and read about because we don't research and read.
Absolutely. That's, I think, established at this point, is not only does it not, we aren't learning how to do that, but even if we were, it is kind of like we take the path of least resistance, and like the easiest thing to do is to look at clickbait headlines, fast, real type communication.
Right.
TikTok, I think, especially, supplies us with these fast spoken videos that are very addictive and we feel as if we have dissected an argument, and we are becoming very poor or inept at rhetoric, at discernment, at analyzing an argument and responding. We are losing the art of it. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So let's just take the Faith Over Breakfast podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't do a lot of social media. So if we were to do a social media on this particular episode, first off, we would have a clip of you saying Facebook is a dead blah, 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 right? So there's our controversial statement. We're going to put you up there.
And there would be video of the most hot takey moment of this.
That's going to get flipped through.
And ideally it would come with flashing text so you don't have to turn your audio on to see it.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got all that. We would be doing all those things. And that would help boost our listenership.
It would absolutely grow our reach.
Yes.
Yeah. And the engagement we would get on social media would feel way better.
Yes. Right.
We would be affirmed far more.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we've been around for 9 years.
Uh-huh.
So we were back. We started a podcast when podcasts weren't necessarily as big of a deal. And so our only strategy is being a cockroach. right? We are just going to keep going, and nothing's going to stop us. And there's just going to be an episode after an episode, and eventually, maybe we'll outlast people. And we have outlasted.
I like that. That's what cockroaches do.
We've outlasted many a person, right? And I think that part is fascinating to me. Is that in spaces like this, you can see all that, and maybe you can get a bigger podcast, and maybe. Yeah. But as we have maximized our time,
sure,
and the longer we're around, when people are looking for things, we have a lot of content.
There's a lot of
available to them.
Sure. Yeah. We've there's a lot of volume. Now there's podcasts that today. I mean, I have chosen to follow the Chicago Cubs, and that includes a podcast. I'm wearing the hat, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I'm going to take a picture.
Oh, good.
So I'll turn the flashlight on.
Yeah, we don't need that. But the Chicago Cubs have a podcast, or there's a number of podcasts about them, I should say. Not they have one, but there's a number about them. And the most established ones are almost daily.
Yes.
An hour long. And that's...
Well, that's like a radio program, basically.
Yeah, it is like a radio program. Show. But that's a lot more content than us. But we have done a consistent thing. I think it's like this. I think it goes like this. If somebody out there has met us and knows one of us, they're likely to follow our podcast. And then sometimes it'll get recommended to someone that way. And that's how we've built a little base. And it's not huge, but it's significant enough to be worth it.
Yeah, I would say that we have somewhere between 500 and 1,000 regular listeners in the world.
Wow, that's wild to me. That's that's a small segment of the world, but still.
But it's our little audience. And we love you to death. And, those of you who are listening in the Netherlands, send us a message. Say hi.
Yeah, say, oh, good.
You're our second most listened.
Yeah,
next to the United States, the Netherlands love us.
I love it. So anyway, that whatever. I guess what I'm trying to get at, like, that's fine. I'm aware that we're doing media now.
Yeah.
But there's I think the podcast has more potential to work out a meaningful thought than the visual platforms. Yeah. So again, it to me the toolbox metaphor works. Like to me, social media, like, I'm not saying it's useless. I'm on it to some degree. It's like the screwdriver that it does that thing well, and it's changed. So, like screwdrivers, they're complicated screws now that you need a certain driver for. You can't use your old flathead. It's changed, but so that must be understood. But I think there's a discernment that if you're trying to change people's heart and mind, and it isn't working, and you realize it's not built to do this, it is wise to decide not to use it for that anymore. Yeah. That's, I guess, my point. And I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think that's important, because I think within my church, for instance, there is this movement, however small, to completely withdraw. And it's with the younger people, not the older people.
Yeah. There's a lot of skepticism there. Yeah.
Like, get off of social media, go to the light phones, go to the flip phones, stay out of it.
Which is fine.
Great. It's good, but at the same time, it does extract them from relating maybe to other people who are younger than them and engaging. And I like what you're saying is maybe looking at these things and saying, well, what kind of is it a tool?
Yeah.
Or is it a vape pen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Am I
And maybe for you maybe a person goes, to me it's a vape pen. It's the smoke break I take every day and it's killing me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But be honest about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the more, or if it's not a vape pen and it's just a tool, use it just as the tool.
Just as the tool.
And don't engage in its broken pieces. Like, don't try to use the broom to dig a ditch.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I guess this is me explaining myself and my choice to not try to talk to people about faith in politics really on social media, and to dialogue with people or to change somebody's mind. Or that's why you don't see me commenting much, and if I do, I often go, that was pointless, and but I'm also suggesting it to others. Like this, it's not working, is it?
Yeah.
Look at the evidence.
Yep.
It's not.
Yep.
Your broom isn't digging a hole.
Yeah.
So, like, either go sweep or get a shovel.
Yeah, and I think it's the sort of the salaciousness of it, because even, or not the addictiveness of it, because for instance, example. So every week, I write a note to our leaders. It's usually my thoughts and some things. And one of my leaders is like, hey, can I pass this on?
Yeah.
And so I started just editing them down so that they weren't, they're different than the leader one, but had the same, and put it on Substack.
Yeah.
Now, I've written articles and just put them up on Facebook. And the last one I put up, not this recent one, it got like people shared it and there's all this conversation. I was like, oh, this is great. I haven't posted anything since then except last week, because I'm like, man, I don't actually want to keep picking up my phone and be like, oh, wow, another comment. I'm going to comment. Oh, thank you for commenting. Yeah. And I had 3 shares and 48 likes. This is great. I'm having an impact. And then I posted recently one of the articles, and somebody shared it and it got like 6 likes. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. People read and they like. I'm like, and then I started thinking, well, maybe I could write some other stuff. What could I write to get more people to read? Well, so my goal in writing is to get more people to read it and to comment on it. And I'm like, all of a sudden, the whole enjoyment of I am writing a specific thing for my leaders to encourage them, to help them move into ministry. Yeah. And I can put it here on Substack so that, it's got a record of it. Great. Yeah. I don't go look at Substack and see the data. I don't care. It's just a place to post it. Yeah. And it's not like the motive all changes as soon as I get into the space where there's an opportunity for people to clap for me, to tell me I'm cool, to say, hey, you have good ideas and thoughts. It's very dangerous.
It is. And now I was telling you at breakfast too that one of the things that I am using social media for, that I don't love in a way,
but you have to,
but you kind of have to, is the Friendship Journey book. Like, if you're going to get published, generally there's this sense that you have to be building or have an established platform of some form. And mine is not established enough because I can't put enough time into it. But I'm trying to do some of that because I do want to attempt to get it published. And so I was saying, like, I am sharing thoughts about that. I am like using the platform, but it's explicitly, like, in a way, it's like I'm trying to help people see that I'm talking about friendship, that the book that I'm coming out with is going to be delving into friendship. And it's coming from a tragic event, and it includes a drive to Wrigley Field. Like, it's marketing. Like, I know that, and I think that's what, like, I was telling you that, again, with the tool, if the newspaper back in the day had said, okay, Andy, you want to advertise? It costs $29.99 to be down at the bottom of the page. And if you want to be up at the top, it's $59.99. And I look at that and I go, okay, it's going to cost me this, and this is what I have to do to have the more visible thing. You're kind of playing the game because that's what it takes to market. With the book thing, that's how I feel with the social media engagement. I don't expect my engagement out there to necessarily do what I hope the book will do, which is invite people into a long-form story where they reflect. I'm just using it to try to get enough awareness that people are willing to buy the book. So I'm choosing it as a marketing tool. I go back and forth on that, but I want to be clear about the choices I'm making and why I'm making them, as opposed to thinking, oh, if I keep posting about friendship, like, it's going to change the world. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a couple people think more. Generally, I don't think they are. But what I'm trying to do is, in the future, have people buy a book on friendship where I work out my more meaningful thoughts.
Yeah.
Will it work? We'll see. But the tool it's an advertising tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why you'll see me talking about that on there.
Yeah,
and not telling you what I think of Donald Trump's chimpanzee or ape video of the Obamas today. I do have thoughts on that. But I don't think social media conversation is going to get anybody anywhere on that topic.
This happens to me a lot, by the way.
Yeah.
When people say things like that.
And you go, what?
What are you talking about? Like, I don't, well, A, apparently I'm not on social media enough.
Well, and there's going to be.
Like, I just, oh, wow.
Yeah, it is a wow, actually. And there's types of things. So interestingly, and this is an interesting thing. Like, my wife opened up some social media, and immediately the first thing that was presented to her was a graphic video of a law enforcement officer killing someone. Graphic, detailed video. First thing she saw. And she's like, did you know about this? I was like, no. When did it happen? Apparently a couple days ago. What have I been getting for the last couple days? Hermosillo hats, Chicago Cubs, pastors disagreeing about stuff, right? I didn't get that video.
Right.
Ever. And I actually Googled it. Didn't come up on my search engine. Didn't show up. I had to go page after page to find this. I was curious. I was like, for whatever reason, it was presented to her in video form, boom, right in her face. For me, it was buried. Why? There's whatever data they have on her and I. So
what she's flipping through and what you're flipping through.
Yeah. So this thing I'm talking about, which is, I did a quick check. I was like, that really happened? Appears it did. Have I watched the whole video? Do I know the context of it? No, I don't. So there's that.
Right.
But it was that hit me, boom. That's what I was exhibited when I opened an app today, just that. But, and all kinds of people are engaging on it. I disbelieve that the social media tool is going to be an effective place to change anybody's mind on how they feel about that. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
So can we maybe land the plane and just talk a little bit about, because you give me this question, you'll say, Eric, you're a small church pastor.
Yeah.
how like a person in your congregation says, Andy,
yeah, I'm
struggling with the social media. I want to be engaged and I want to know what's happening, but it's addicting and I just can't do it. I don't know. How am I supposed to live in this digital world? Andy, help me out. Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the things I would say is, like, I'm struggling with that too. And I think this whole tool conversation to me is an important one that I'm still working out, but it would be like, you need to decide what role it plays. Like,
that's good.
Something like that. Like, if you are hoping this is your place to be known, examine that. Is this really going to make you known?
Yeah.
If this is going to be the place where you do ministry, change people's hearts and minds, I'm very skeptical that it is effective for that. Right? If this is where you catch up on whether or not the Cubs have made a trade before spring training, it's going to do an excellent job doing that. Yeah. It will give you that information. So the question is, I think, like, what are you hoping for from it? What's your goal in using it? Let's examine those. And then for all of us, myself included, just acknowledging the addictive nature of it. And I've been trying. I've had some days are better than others, but just like yesterday, I got home, put my keys and everything in the room, and I looked at my phone. I went, this stays in the bedroom. And I went out in the living room, didn't have it all night. Great. That was probably a good decision. Yeah. And I'm trying to do that more often.
So here's a habit that I found that's really weird. Maybe I can be your congregant. So as someone who works and has people calling him on the phone all the time, I do attend sometimes. I do end up using it as a vape pen.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, so I go on vacation, and if it's a long vacation, so meaning more than a couple days, about day 5, I lose my phone. By the 7th or 8th day, the only time I'm looking at my phone is to set my alarm.
Yeah.
And I start feeling weird and what I feel is very, like, I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel disconnected from everybody because here's my connection: Facebook, phone calls, texts. You know. So I stop, but I don't. And any media that then I begin to consume is because I'm usually with my wife. Is that we watch a movie at night. You know, if we're in like a in an Airbnb, we're going to watch a movie, pop some popcorn. There's our media. It's together. And if I do pick up my phone, it's plopped on a typewriter and I'm writing. You know, I mean, it becomes just an actual tool. It's not vaping anymore. I'm not. I don't go to Facebook. I don't do any of those things.
Oddly, this reminds me of when Saddleback Church under Rick Warren started all deciding to eat different. Remember this? Where Rick Warren was overweight and he got up in front of the church and said, "Look, you all know I'm overweight. I haven't been eating right. This is an effect of an unhealthy lifestyle. I'm going to make some changes. Does anybody want to do this with me?" Like, I remember this is years ago.
I had no idea about
this. This was years ago.
Okay.
I'd have to look up. I'm probably getting a lot of details wrong. But from what I gathered is a bunch of people at the church all were like, I need to do that too. Right.
Right.
And we all know that food is not, it's also a vape pen.
Yeah.
It's for many of us. I mean, I'm very much this way. Like,
we could have split our meal today.
We could have split our meal today. I enjoy eating. Actually, so this morning, that was just, I get to sit with my friend and eat. I love that. But I will eat if I'm stressed as well. And I will eat as a comfort to me, which is, and that's when it's the vape, right? And a lot of overeating, stems from that or unhealthy eating or whatever. Same with drink or whatever. Like, people have their direction they go with that. But as a community, they kind of named it. I think if somebody came to me in my church, I would need to be more like Rick Warren in that moment and say, you know what? Like, I find myself using it in the same way, and it is not helping us. How about we together start deciding to leave our phone places and not quit eating, right? Rick Warren in that church, they ate, but they decided to recalibrate and examine their relationship to food and what it was for. Right. And I think that would be because we're not getting away from these things. Right. Like even my daughter was talking about how she goes to college and the expectation is you're going to engage the material on your phone. Like, sometimes it's like, pull out your phone and we're going to answer these questions. Like, if you go flip phone, you can't do class. Like, there's a sense to where that's becoming the case. So we're going to have to learn how to manage our relationship to the thing. Generally, I mean, some of us, it's kind of like it takes a lot of privilege. Like, if you're a trust fund kid, you might be able to go off the grid.
Right.
But
well, it's the same thing about healthy living.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have money to eat healthy.
Yeah. And have the freedom to think through that. And Yep.
Yeah. Good things, man.
So there you go.
Good things, Andy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is a good podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for, I credit the breakfast before.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking me out to breakfast.
You're
Eric.
welcome.
And
thanks to our listener who gave a generous donation to help production meetings.
A production meeting we've had. Yeah. And thank you all for listening. We appreciate you taking time. If you're the type of person that listens all the way through a podcast like this, you probably have a lot to teach us all. And you should send us your thoughts and questions.
Yeah. So we know that there are listeners all over the world.
Yeah.
All you got to do is real easy. You see that says write us, and just do that. Just say, hey, I listen.
In your podcast app.
Yeah, in your podcast app. Just say I listen.
That's We'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
And if you have a thought or question, you could pop it in there too. You can always email us, faithoverbreakfast@gmail.com.
Andy looks at those.
I do. Eric doesn't. So you have to talk to Eric. With me.
Or the dashboard. I look
Email.
at the dashboard and we'll text. You text us, man.
Yeah.
I look at it.
There it is.
All right.
So we appreciate you listening. Hope to hear from you. And we will probably talk to you next week.
You've been listening to Faith Over Breakfast with Pastor Eric Siepen and Pastor Andy Littleton. Please share us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you.